Welcome to Surf Dudes with Attitude, a special episode. This is Pete from Nashville, Tennessee. Hello.
Oh, Pete from Nashville. Welcome to Nashville. This is Zach from Nashville.
And this is Mallory from Nashville.
Oh,
wait a minute.
That's so great.
Are we all
we
in the same?
We
G-world?
can't fuck with the cameras because they've been so specifically placed, which everyone on Patreon will see. But we are all at the same table.
Yay!
I feel it. I feel it. This is my hand.
I'm being blessed.
I found it.
And John the Baptist over there. Mallory, thanks for coming back on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Money was spent on airlines to get me down here.
That's right.
And to do some special contenting for all of y'all. Special episode. I think we didn't know what the episode was going to be about, but we just watched it together.
It turned out to be very special.
No, well,
It was very special.
California Dreams not a fan of urban sprawl or any kind of real estate development, which I'm all about, living in New York City. Or at least I did. Now I live in Nashville.
Hello,
This week.
Nashville.
I do.
This week.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we thought we would do a fun live episode. George is still in Pennsylvania. He couldn't make it, but you know what?
We missed you, George.
It's fine.
miss you,
We don't have enough cameras to have
That
a
is
fourth
true.
person
That's true.
anyway.
This was difficult. We got it sorted. You're going to see the sun go down for those of you watching on Patreon.
Yeah,
you're going to
this is-
slowly see the sun descend as we make our way through this episode.
It's true.
I think that's like filmmaking 101 that we're messing up the rules. We might as well have a clock behind us that's just
Listen.
slowly turning.
We are very punk rock about this. Don't even worry about it.
You should see what Zach's setup's like. I don't know if this is normal. He has his phone propped up against his laptop so he can read his notes on
This
his
is
phone.
normal, and then
He
then I do a
typed
little scroll.
his notes on his laptop and transferred them to his phone.
Yep. Well, I share it. It's called the iCloud, and I
Uh-huh.
just opened it on another device.
Oh.
It's as easy as nothing else.
That's amazing.
Yeah, because I want to be able to see everybody's beautiful faces.
I get it.
Sure.
While we do this, you want to see what I could do?
What?
You all won't
I
be
mean,
able to, but
nobody
you
will.
will be able to. See, these are the
Okay, I see.
OG notes.
Dark.
Big.
If everybody's not seeing, it's dark mode.
Yeah,
And,
you know me.
Before we started, Zach was really campaigning for us to not only listen to but fully endorse Limp Bizkit's new album. So if anybody out there,
Yeah, I feel like you're really springing this. I don't.
if DJ Lethal is listening,
Yeah,
you have a fan.
I think I don't want to be on a soapbox for this, but it's hard. It's hard out of context without. I just think Limp Bizkit, everything he does
Are
is
they,
self-aware.
are they not on your
Uh-huh.
Spotify Wrapped?
Absolutely, top 5, 3 years running. It is. He's self-aware. You know what? I appreciate any artist that makes art exactly as they intend to.
Okay.
Sometimes we've talked a lot about bad movies as you visited here, and a lot of times it's fun that they did it in earnest and didn't make the movie that they wanted to. That
Sure.
also can be enjoyable. But I think when it comes to art, if you make the art exactly as you intend to, and Fred Durst does that. Did you mean to leave?
I didn't know.
Bye, Pete.
Pete left. Pete hates this conversation.
It's your internet. We're still recording, so
Okay.
it's just we might lose video for this part. No, it's
Just
I think
for-
we're overloading your internet. I think.
That could be. I'm going to take my phone off of the internet at least.
I'll do
I
the
would.
same.
I
would
don't know how much
suggest-
that would help. I think your roommates are downloading massive amounts of porn.
Well,
Well.
that's always going to be the case, and it's never had trouble before. Good. Wi-Fi is off. See, it's as easy as nothing else.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, Fred Durst knows what he's doing. He's self-aware, and he makes the art that he means to, and that's important. And I appreciate it. Dad vibes. Snacky poo. To name a few.
All
Hello,
right.
Pete. Welcome back
Here
to
we go.
StreamYard.
It's Pete.
You know what? Before this, you both were like, "Hey, you didn't even dress up for this," and I did dress up for this, sort of.
Okay.
Because I'm doing a little homage to the special guest of this episode.
Okay.
By
That is
wearing
true.
the T-shirt, the band T-shirt
Yay!
of this our captain in arms here.
Oh,
you bred
thank you.
Raptors.
I love that
I'll
shirt.
take Coxswain. That's the leader of a rowboating
Ooh.
Rowboating.
A coxswain?
I think that's what it's called.
Yes.
Or
I like that. The coxswain actually doesn't do anything with the oars. He's just the asshole at the top of the rowboat that's like everybody, like mush, mush, mush. As if everybody's
That's what they say.
in the Iditarod.
nice.
Mush.
So anyway, we are here to talk about I think the 13th episode of season 2 of California Dreams. It's called Save the Shark. It came out on December 4th, 2024. I'm ready to talk about this episode and get to it.
Did you just say it came out in 2024?
That's what I wrote. It came out in 1993. This is from
a very recent episode.
From the future.
Yeah.
Yes.
Zach, are you ready? Mallory, are you ready?
I'm so ready.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Cool.
1, 2, 3, 4.
It's like he was waiting for the cue, which we'll talk about later.
We'll
We're
get
talking
there.
about
We'll
Matt's
get there.
Accountant. Even on their first song, which should be the most practiced song, he still fucked up the count. Okay, we appreciate everybody coming back. This is Surf Dudes with Attitude. We are more than halfway through the second season. This is our first live episode that we've done in person. If you guys want to hit us up at CaliforniaDreamsPodcast.com, that has our Patreon. And I think we just revamped our main website at Surf Dudes with Attitude at .com. You can check that out. Don't go on it because it might kill our internet again.
Yeah, you gotta wait. Please wait.
I've got the camera's going.
I'm glad we got extras. Yeah, this is now the backup. Our usual StreamYard is kind of the backup, isn't it?
Yeah, and it looks like it's just mine that's being running a full. So I might just keep knocking out. So don't worry about me, okay?
We would never.
We'll just trust that you'll always come back to us.
It does pop back on.
Mm-hmm. So
the first note I have was you seemed very excited about it when we were watching the intro. That TNBC had a little sticker there.
it sure did.
So I'm almost positive I've never seen that happen. I don't know about you guys.
I don't remember it.
Looked new to me.
It definitely looked new. I like the fact that the T has little shoes on. It's like dressing.
It's cool.
That's what I should have dressed.
The T. The T and TNBC.
Just shoes.
So I guess you guys have never actually watched the teen NBC lineup, right?
No.
Okay.
No,
That would've-
I was the TGIF, which is ABC.
So you were
person.
only allowed one pocket of TV a week.
They said just one.
Okay, and so you had to choose Friday night or Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Saturday morning was for
Saturday morning
chores.
was also ABC. Yeah, after we got done feeding the goats and chickens.
Okay, sure.
Yes.
Takes time.
So yeah, we're gonna start the episode after this intro, this branded intro at Sharky's. Of course, I think we were all sitting on the couch and we're like, of course it's at Sharky's. I noticed that my first note was that this is the first old person that I've ever seen at Sharky's. This is again like a Children of the Corn kind of scenario, and of course it makes sense that it's going to be the nemesis of the episode.
Yeah.
Unless they have something to do with the plot, there's no reason for an old person to be in California Dreams.
That's true.
That has been accurate. Yeah, because even the parents are alarmingly young.
Yes. So this is. We still don't know if Sharky's is specifically, exclusively a high school cafeteria annex, or this is open to the public. I truly don't know what the answer is on this. So the reason this guy is here, his name is Mr. Stone. I don't know if we ever get a first name for this guy.
Nick. But
Nick
we
Stone?
didn't hear. I don't think we hear it in the episode, but it's at the end.
It's
credits.
credited.
Oh,
as
okay.
Nick.
All right.
Nick, short for Nickabee.
Nichols.
Nicholas Rock is my father. I'm Nick Stone Jr.
Nick Stone.
So apparently Nick Stone is with a young girl, and they're there.
In
and
a killer jacket.
yeah,
A real
by the
cute-
way.
Mallory
Real
next
cute
to us
jacket.
was off, running off the hook or the chain, if you
Yeah.
will, about all the fashion in this episode.
Highly distracted by the fashion in
Yeah.
this episode.
Yeah.
I have at least 4 notes about the fashion.
Yeah,
in
they
this
got their
episode.
ball of yarn out and they just started making stuff to emulate.
Yeah, this sweater's brand new. This
Brand new.
cardigan, this
Started it
you're
at the
seeing.
top of the episode.
Yeah.
And I guess people know exactly who this guy is. They say straight up, this is the guy that just bought Sharky's. Tony is saying that. Just a little bit like what I'm going through. My job got bought out as well.
Whoa.
And I'm also Antoine in this episode. I don't know if you heard Sly called
Yes,
Tony
called him.
Antoine for
Yeah.
the first time. So that will be my name
Okay.
for all eternity.
Okay.
But Tony is, at first he's worried that he's going to lose his job. And then Stone comes over and compliments him and says, "You're going to be the manager of this place," you know?
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely how that works.
For sure.
Did he say he was going to be the manager, or did he just say that Sharky was complimenting?
No, he said,
I
"You're
said
going to be the new
manager. He did say
manager
manager.
because
Oh,
you
yeah.
are the best worker we have here," which
feels
says a lot because
highly
he's constantly
deceptive.
ditching work to
Yeah,
be with the
but
dream
he's-
shenanigans.
that's true.
It's pretty wild. But although he's also always working.
He is. And
Yeah.
I wanted to bring up Tony's old boss, Sharky. How many episodes do you think we've seen Sharky in? I have the answer.
Oh,
So
2.
Is it 2?
it is 2. It is only 2 episodes that we've ever seen Sharky.
I feel like his presence is still felt though, because I did feel a little bit of a gut punch when it was like, wait, Sharky's gone?
They wrote him off with a line. He
Yeah.
goes to Hawaii, and you know if they're sending him to an island,
He's never coming
he's
back.
not coming back.
It's
It's
we
like
didn't even get to say
Alcatraz.
goodbye.
Yeah.
Little
He's gone to the
Alcatraz-y.
Rock.
He's gone.
Yeah.
This is preceding The Rock. I'm kind of bummed. Sharky, he was a larger than life character. We should pour 40 out for Sharky later.
true.
And if they keep so new owner, like, I mean, we don't want to spoil what happens at this episode, although it's called Save the Shark.
Do you think they will?
Do you think they'll keep the name? Is this going to be a shady umbrella
my
organization thing where they let the old name stand and let people pretend it's still an independent venue, but it's
I
not?
mean, that's what's happened to at least a couple of places here in Nashville.
Does this guy work for Ticketmaster?
He might.
This is a
Mr.
Live
Ticket.
Nation
This
piece
was
of
the
shit.
beginning of it.
Yeah.
Fucking
This is where
knew
it started.
This is what Pearl Jam was constantly complaining about.
Yeah.
It started
They
here
warned
and
us.
nobody
It started
listened.
with
This was
Sharky's.
around the same time too.
That's true.
This is 1993
It was all the rage.
or 2024,
should've
whichever,
listened.
whenever you saw it.
Whenever
Yes,
you want to
2024.
say, seen it.
So the girl, I guess, is attractive,
Yes.
and all the guys are like, "Oh,
His daughter.
Stone's
specifically.
daughter, Pebble, is really attractive." And Matt is head over. Stop. Matt
it
is
was a
head
good
over
joke. It
heels.
was funny.
Is it weird or not to anybody else how uncomfortable it is when Matt gets horny for somebody?
Yes.
Yeah.
Matt's not good at being a horn dog.
Mm-mm. No.
I think it's just already so over the top when like Sly does it at all that like anybody on top of that is just like, okay, everyone needs to calm down.
Yeah.
Like it just
Yeah.
feels a little too aggressive.
Sly is the horny vampire. He
Right,
has sucked
yeah.
up all the creepiness in the room. So when anybody tries, it's not going to match Sly, but it's still an overload.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I agree because when Sly does it, it's expected.
Mm-hmm.
When Matt does it, you expect him to be somewhat sweet about it.
Yeah, when Matt does it, it's like you've been hanging out with Sly too
Yeah.
much.
Yeah,
Like
Sly's
give it a
exactly.
break.
Bad
Yeah.
influence.
It's shocking.
That's not how you treat women, Sly. That's not how you treat anybody. And when Matt goes over to talk to her, he stammers, he fucks it up, he's very self-deprecating. And for some reason, she's into it.
Eventually.
Eventually, not right away.
Exactly.
She's playing hard to get.
She says
you think?
no to his
Do you think
advances.
this is why she cannot let herself get attached to people because she's constantly moving? Do you think she made a character choice here?
I think we might find out.
I think we
Okay.
might.
All
Yeah.
right. All right. So this woman in question, what's her name?
Pebble.
Katie. Katie Pebble.
No, it's Pebble.
Pebbles. She looks like she's 30.
Uh-huh,
I did look
very
up.
much
She's
so.
but she's 23 in this episode. So,
Okay.
around the same age as everyone else, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Sure. Slightly older
hmm
by a year or two or 3, depending on actor.
Yeah, the only person who was not interested in her allegedly was Jake, who had that line for Tiff that was, "I only have drool for you," which I think is really gross. It was
Instead of "I only have eyes for you."
Well,
in
because
case anybody doesn't
she was
get
so
the
proud.
reference.
She was so proud of him for not drooling over her.
yes.
Like
Again,
the other
this
guys.
is another toxic trait that this couple will have forever.
For you, baby.
Is Jake doesn't seem like he salivates for anything. What motivates Jake as a character?
A nice Hemi.
A nice boy. Yeah.
A 4-stroke, 2-stroke, 1-stroke.
Are these more bike terms?
Yeah, these are bike.
Okay,
strokes.
all right. Oh, I forgot you rolled your bike, so
Yeah, I know about it.
you had to. You had a crash course in it, didn't you?
Oh.
I surely did.
So we're gonna go to the hallway, and Sly gets this idea: if Tony is now the manager at Sharky's, ergo, the California Dreams can play every single night. Y'all, we're all in bands. What would it cost to play every single night at the same venue? And would this bring in new people?
Yes. It's a genius idea. I think every band
Foolproof.
should do this.
I will say I watched
Find a venue they love.
I watched the 4-hour Twisted Sister documentary, which is really good,
Yeah. Okay.
by the way. And this is what they did. They did 5 nights a week, and they did about 4 or 5-hour sets in Long Island. And they
Really?
grinded, and they played covers, and they played originals. And it was like 4 different sets a night. And that's how they kind of made their bones. I don't think California Dreams, with their 1-song sets, have enough material to play every single night. And if they did, are they constantly schlepping gear back and forth to the garage?
Oh, I think at that point it probably lives there.
Yeah, I would
Yeah,
imagine
I
so.
would
If they're
hope
doing it
the
every night, it
house
should be
band.
The
there.
back line.
That would
I think
be
they
silly.
take their pedals and guitars, and then the
Hold,
sticks.
haha. You think the California Dreams have pedals? This is the first time we've maybe brought this up.
I'm talking about the keyboard pedal.
The sustain pedal.
The sustain
it's one
pedal.
pedal.
I think they take that
I think
home.
that's the only
It's
thing
the
Sam
one
carries
pedal.
into a gig.
I think
think
yeah.
With
Sam
both
makes
hands.
Sam makes everybody carry her gear. She just seems like that type of band member, and I don't mean that as a bad way. She's just she's kind of a diva.
You think Sam is the diva?
I do.
Interesting.
Yeah. I think Tiffany is carrying kick drums in when push comes to shove.
Well, Sam is always distracted by boys.
She's an
or is
airhead,
talking,
and that's fine.
So
I
I,
love
think
it.
she's busy talking, and then is like, "Oh, I'm sorry, guys." Once it's already in,
She's got
and
the
slowly resentment.
sorry, dude.
forms
She's
and
got the lead
grows.
singer energy. All right.
Don't be sorry. I know who I am. I don't carry shit.
I'm surprised in this scene that Jake is into the idea. He has a difficult time expressing camaraderie with Sly in this moment, but he's like, this is a great idea. Why is Jake super into this idea? He loves playing solos. Maybe that's why.
Imagine how many solos that he could play in 1 week.
He could play a different solo every
compounded,
night.
yeah, at least 5 solos a week.
At least 5 solos a week.
Be awesome.
Look, if they played 1 song every night,
Which you know they would.
that's not a bad gig.
Are they playing weekends? Are we doing 7 days a week here?
I think Sly hadn't thought that far ahead.
Are we keeping the
But I
Sabbath
think-
holy? Are they playing on Sundays?
I think Sharky's is closed on like Mondays.
Arbor Day. Okay, Monday.
just Arbor Day.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Well, now that they got a new
No,
owner,
it'd be closed for Shark Week. Come on.
or would they be running specials for Shark Week?
Oh, that's true.
I don't
Never
know.
mind.
It's just a question.
It's weird that these
has the answer?
these are of course teenagers, but they didn't ask at any point like what is Mr. Stone's background? Is he a restaurateur? Like, is he gonna mess with the decor? All they're saying throughout this episode is Sharky's means a lot to us, but at no point do they ever question this guy's motive for selling it. Or
Sure.
Sharky for leaving, for that matter.
Right.
They just say Sharky went on vacation. Sharky is from New York City. Didn't we kind of establish that? Or did we make that up?
I think we
backstory up?
made it
I
up
think we
because of
assumed
his
it,
accent.
Oh right.
He's.
Oh, we made up the backstory that the venue owner from Who's the Boss is his brother, and they had a big falling out.
Yeah, that's the case. That's the case.
One guy went to Connecticut, one went to California, and they're estranged.
Yes.
Maybe they'll meet up in Hawaii. I really
I
hope
really hope
so.
so
that'd be
too.
so
It's about time to
cute.
make amends.
And go
Yeah,
surfing
bury
together.
that beef. That's what they call it,
It's
right?
Salt water under the
Yeah.
bridge.
Hatchet that beef, y'all. So
In this scene, Sly does do a really stupid dance, and the crowd woos like
there,
it's
the whooping in this.
sexy.
This crowd is horny.
This crowd is so.
It started from the
horny.
first scene, and it's like a
Yeah.
Kramer thing. Every time Sly walks in, they're whooping it up.
I think there was Tony this time walking in.
Wow.
Yeah, Tony got a woo when he walked in.
Sam got one when she carried in the sustain pedal. I saw.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, it was just me being
It was
like,
just you
okay,
being like,
Okay.
"She's
carry
doing
your
it."
weight.
Yeah.
I guess she has, and it was probably literally her weight.
It was.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's like they keep wooing at very odd places. Like
And
not
he's-
all of it was appropriate for what was happening.
No, and he's
No.
leaning into it too. He knows that he's working for the crowd, and
Yeah.
that's Michael Caine as an actor, and we appreciate him, even though he hasn't responded to any of our requests to be on this podcast.
Michael Cade.
Come
What
on.
the hell,
Come on.
dude?
Come on, Michael.
Because he's afraid we're going to bring him on and then bring on Tom Cruise and be like, guess what? We have a surprise for
We
you.
actually like him better.
Tom Cruise also hasn't got back to us about our
I think because of
inquiries.
the
That's
same. Because
surprising.
he's worried that we're going to bring on Michael Cade.
I think so.
We are a podcast.
We
about
found a
California
younger-
Dreams featuring Michael
Yeah,
Cade.
guess
Tom
who's
Cruise has-
Mission Impossible 9. Guess what's happening? This is your new stunt double.
Yeah.
You're too old to do these stunts. Michael Caine can do it.
Come
He
on,
still has
Michael
the
Caine.
abs.
He's still
for
fit.
it.
He's
I mean, speaking
risky.
of speaking of whooping,
Oh,
yes.
we were whooping on the couch because there's a scene where Matt, in a stroke of a juxtaposition to every other aspect that's shown to be Matt-like, he grabs Jake, and it's because Jake is like, you can't get that girl or whatever, and they get so close. He pulls him in close.
Very
You
real
can feel
close.
the warm breath on his neck,
my.
and he pulls him in, and they're so close to kissing. It's like the scene in X-Files, the movie, where Mulder and Scully almost kiss for the first time, and then a bee sting.
Yeah.
You know,
He's roughing him up.
a little switch action. We've
Yeah.
we've only ever seen Jake be the dominatrix in this relationship.
I know.
That's
I know,
what they're
this
called,
was
right?
exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's leather bound.
Speaking of
Dumb.
Dommy stuff,
Oh, yeah.
Dommy mommy, I love how much shit talking Sam is doing to Matt in this episode about him not being able to get.
mean.
There's a line where she's like, "You picked a great girl to get rejected by," and I'm like, "I'm gonna use that. That is a great line." It's true. She's just cucking Matt all day.
Yeah. I love it.
It's kind of hot. I'll be honest. Like she's like, carry my sustain pedal, bitch. You little pay
And
pig.
Matt's like, I won't do it. And then next scene, he's walking in with the sustain
Yes.
pedal.
Well, that's the first of many hallway scenes that are going to happen on this episode. So the school is a big part of this for some reason, even though there's no classes. So keep that in mind. The last episode was very school heavy. So if you want to learn about what goes on in school,
I'm
maybe
interested.
maybe you need a refresher.
Go back one
Yeah,
episode.
for sure. That was it was a goofy episode we had on another goddamn horror podcast, and there's some hijinks in there. So everyone,
wild.
thanks for the feedback on that. Like combining these two dorky ass podcasts, like that nobody asked for. So speaking of teaming up, we're going to the movie theater.
Well, because it was a success,
Yeah.
he asks Katie. Sorry,
Pebble.
I thought they said Kitty this whole time, so in all my notes it's Kitty.
I never
until
heard
the
her
end,
name, so she's
and then I was like,
Pebble to
"Oh,
me.
it's Katie," but I didn't want to change all my notes. So we're gonna
You need to
we're gonna
find and
work with it.
replace function. on this.
This app doesn't have it. So Matt falls down in the school, and then everybody leaves. Nobody picks him up, but then Katie comes over.
Oh,
and
right,
she's like,
right.
"Let me lend you a hand there, Buster." And he comes and is like, "Well, he's trying to ask her out again," and she's
Yes.
like, "Still no." And he's like, "Well, it's not a date." it's with me and all my friends. And
It's a
she's
group
like,
hang.
oh, that actually sounds
I
really
must have
fun.
been writing notes at this point because I had no clue why in the next scene they were all together.
This is why.
Got her into a group hang. She was like, all right, if it's a group, I'll
If
do
it's
it.
a group hang,
She's
'cause
really
she's
not
new to this
into
school.
him.
She's new to the school, so she's like, oh, okay, if it's like meeting a bunch of friends, I need new friends. And then the crowd also goes woo.
Yeah,
as
they
though
wooed
he, like,
again.
scored a date. And it was like, no,
She very clearly turned him down.
He's being sneaky. He's sneakily trying to get her to this.
He's not
movie
listening
theater.
to her. He's pestering. He's orbiting at this point. So he's
Exactly.
trying to just wear her down, like
Yeah.
outlast every other guy.
Right.
Yeah, tenacity.
So
that's
are we supposed to believe with Katie Pebbles that she just enrolled in this school because her dad came into town? Is that what we're saying?
Yes.
I think that's implied.
Is that not how it works?
I mean, it's true that people do show up midway through the year. They usually come from a broken ass family, though. Like, it's either a really rich family or a really poor family, but either way, they got problems. Because during
Or they just moved. Sometimes people get new jobs.
in the middle of the school year, how dare
Sometimes.
people don't get new jobs between August and May. I'm sorry.
They don't exist.
People just don't do it.
What are they, not farmers? It doesn't compute. So okay, we're gonna jump to the theater.
Okay.
And as Zach just mentioned, this is why everybody is together.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Have you guys ever accidentally gone on a group date, or you were on a date with somebody and you didn't know it was a date kind of situation?
Yes to group dates.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, being homeschooled, it's kind of the only way that we could get away with like going on dates for,
So your
for a minute. in high
all your
school.
siblings would go?
I would just date my siblings.
A true Matt
Those are
Garrison.
all the dates I ever went on for a long time. Yeah, some of my siblings were there because
Okay.
they were like on double dates with other people.
All
It was
right.
just a bunch. We all had crushes on each other, and it was like, hey, we can go as a group, and then our parents will be okay with it.
Sure. Okay.
And then you sit next to each other, and
But hand stuff?
yeah, like your hands touch each
Yeah.
other's hands.
Hand stuff meaning you brush pinkies.
That's
like
true.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I got to keep this webbing clean.
Yeah.
I'm saving that for
Your-
someone special.
Your webbing?
My webbing. Bits
Your-
of-
oh,
bits
your
of
po-
my
your-
fingers.
between your fingers.
polydactyl fingers.
Yeah, we're not over here. We're not over here spreading fingies.
I will say that I was in Columbus on tour one time and our van broke down, and I had a pre-planned meetup with a girl that I had met on Tinder, and she still came to the show, which was a house show, but I was like, we don't have a vehicle, and she's like, okay, I guess your band can come with me. Like, the only way we could get back to the hotel was to have her drive us because our van broke down and it was getting towed. So we still went out to the taco place that these people had recommended. So my band was just my chaperones for this date. And and the taco place was really busy. And so they just sat next to us in the table, and I guess they were trying not to listen to the date. And I was like,
God.
I should have just called an audible and said, this isn't happening. It actually turned out to be a really fun date.
Well, good.
That's good.
But it was still like, now you have to drop us off at the hotel. So I'm sorry, this can't go further. And I was
Yeah.
like to my band, like, look away, I'm gonna kiss this girl goodnight, okay?
Don't look.
Don't make it weird.
Don't
guys.
make kissy sounds.
Shut up, shut up, shut up.
She was a real sport. So I could feel for Matt in this situation because my
Yeah.
band also was on a date, and the California Dreams were behind him.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's talking very
Yeah.
loud.
Also, and she does say, to be fair,
Yeah.
to his advances, which whatever. I'm not defending it, but the feelings are reciprocated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because she says
She's starting
it's
to come around.
actually very sweet that you did all this to get me alone here.
Mm-hmm.
That's a terrible message to send, but I guess it's sweet.
Hey kids, if you're interested in someone and they don't feel the same about you, trick them.
Yeah. Michael Cade will come to your house.
Exactly. Invite all of your friends and say it's just because I want you to make new friends at this new school.
And then make them bail on the date.
and then
One by
then
one.
do the yawn thing.
Yes.
Do the yawn
Do the
thing.
yawn thing.
And speaking of webbed hands, when Matt does the webbed thing,
He does the yawn thing. And, well, Jake Summers has also done the yawn thing with Tiffany.
Mhm.
And they're bookending this row.
I think it's called a London Bridge.
I think you're right. And their hands touch.
No,
Matt
they
and Jake's
They're holding
hands
hands.
hold
Who
each
did he-
other's.
who did
'cause
Matt
they don't
thinks
realize who
whose
they
hand?
are. Or do they?
But who did he think it was?
Who else's hand would it be?
At best,
Like,
it would be Tiff's hand
Yeah.
because it's not Pebble's hand, right?
No,
couldn't
her
be.
hands
Not
are
way
like
up
in
there.
her lap. Like, so I think the tension, the sexual tension between Matt and Jake in this episode,
Palpable.
palpable.
Okay.
Yes. There's medium palp.
That's so stupid.
I just want them to kiss about it, you know.
I know. Well, they freak out when they notice it's their hands. But, you know,
some gay
they
panic.
have to.
It's 1993.
Exactly, because their girlfriends will get jealous.
Yeah.
Oh.
The girlfriends would like to watch. Let's be honest.
Just
Come on.
ask them,
Yeah, they'd be cool.
hey, kids,
Michael Cade will show up to
next
your
time. Girlfriends get jealous.
I wrote in my notes, why do they all have to go to the movie theater together? What are they? Fable cry? I just assume your band all has to agree on a movie and go there together. So
We do go.
y'all,
Listen, we are friends. We like to hang out with each other.
if you're not on Patreon, you didn't see how we were set up in the living room.
my
We were all
God.
sitting next to each other, and we were told we all had laptops because my phone was dying, and I guess this is Mallory did have a pen and paper and like a quill.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
in an ink blotter.
Yeah.
And we're like, let's just do laptops. But I was like, if we do this, you can't cheat. Don't look off my paper. And then the second Zach looked over, it was when I was writing down the movies that I think they were going to see. So, do you at least want a list? I think we know.
I
which,
didn't cheat, so I
Okay.
would like to hear
Okay.
the list.
Oh, I want this list anyway. We're still playing this
Okay,
game.
so we whenever they're in the movie theater, which happens more and more when they run out of plot ideas to do with
Yes.
the band. This is what teenagers do. They go
It
to
is.
the movie theater, which has roughly maybe 13 seats total in that movie theater.
At least in that section.
And it
yeah.
looks just like folding chairs. They won't even spring for the movie theater seats. So
Interesting.
I will say the movie's released on the last week of November in 1993. We're going to put it there 2 weeks prior to when this came out. We have The Three Musketeers starring Charlie Sheen, Oliver Platt, if you will. Addams Family Values, Mrs. Doubtfire, or probably the big winner, Beethoven's Second. Which movie would Matt invite a date to? This is a closed loop.
Oh my god.
It has to be. I'm sorry, I'm not giving you a chance to answer. What do you think it is?
I mean, okay, so
I was leading the witness, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
I know. I feel like maybe realistically it would be Mrs. Doubtfire,
Yeah.
but I think in terms of the agreed upon headcanon for this show, it's Beethoven Second.
we know who Matt
Yeah.
Matt is.
yeah, Matt,
So
because Matt has previously taken. We've decided in
it was
one of his
it
first
was
dates.
all but shown on a big blimp in the sky.
Yeah.
Okay. So if
All of the context clues were there.
if anybody doesn't know, in the first season, Matt invites a girl. He just has tickets to Beethoven, and it doesn't say whether it's a movie or it's an orchestra.
And she loves classical music.
She does the classical music, but Matt is a doof, like MD. So we think he took her to see Beethoven, and he makes a Beethoven joke.
and it did come out
Oh, I
that
guess-
month.
It did come out
it
that
came
month.
out that
We
month.
fucking looked it up. It came out that month. And then Sly makes a Beethoven joke later in the season, just solidifying our
Yeah.
conspiracy theory here. So this has to be,
It has to be Beethoven
Intended.
Second.
It's Beethoven's second.
although I couldn't really hear what was going on in the theater. I didn't hear a dog barking, but that doesn't mean it wasn't there.
There's
know?
a lot of scenes like
There's a
where
lot of
there's
exposition
no-
scenes.
there's
It's a
no
lot of
barking.
exposition.
Yeah.
I don't
Well, it's
think
the
the
second
movie had
Beethoven
started.
movie.
The lights were on, so it was like.
Do you think
That's
Beethoven is
true.
still living at the house for the second film, or something takes Beethoven away and the family has to get him back? I think.
I can't. I know I saw Beethoven second. I don't remember it. Though.
Is there a money laundering plot? Because
Probably that feels
Beethoven
like
could foil those plans.
that
hope
feels
so.
like a kind of zany plot point that would have come about in that time.
So
I agree.
This is where Pebble spills the beans and says, "I can't get attached to you, Matt, as horny as I am for you reciprocally, because my dad is taking over Sharky's to demolish it." And then Matt freaks out and he's like, "They're gonna tear down Sharky's," and then I guess Sly says the same thing. They dump popcorn on him, and then do they leave? Because they're making a ruckus.
They're just
during
they're
Beethoven
just gone.
too.
The popcorn flies, and then it cuts to the garage.
Yes.
I was next to you. I heard you giggle. When
I
when the
giggled
popcorn
because
I also
as they
giggled.
walk in,
I saw an LPE in person, everybody.
It was brilliant. As they walk into the garage, Matt shakes out his jacket
That's great. It is
and
great.
just
Psych
a
gag.
bucket's worth of popcorn
So much popcorn.
jumps out from underneath.
But what I liked
It's a
about
great
it is
segue.
that they didn't linger. They didn't. I don't even know that they necessarily like laugh tracked it. Like it was such a quick beat.
They did.
Just
They-
a little.
The fact
they
that it was
did
very
laugh.
nonchalant. No,
Okay,
you're right.
yeah,
They
yeah.
didn't make
Yeah.
a thing out of it.
I thought it was great.
I loved it. I loved it.
Do you think that was written in the script or that was a day of thing?
Oh, it could go either way, honestly.
A question nobody's ever asked.
I
in
think
the world.
I think it was written in the script because this was probably shot out of order.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if they would have been like, wait, the one just before this. You know what I mean? I think they already planned it on paper.
Okay.
It was back to
Right.
back because it was like the next joke, which does happen often
Sure.
in this show. It happens again in this episode where Matt says a thing and then when
Yes.
Sam's like carry
You're
my
speaking of comedy.
carry my sustain pedal and he's like
Sustain
I'm not
pedal.
going to do it, and then the next shot he's carrying it in.
Yeah.
Like that stuff happens all the time. I'm talking
Sure.
about
And then he's just shit talking her, and he's like, "She's standing right behind me, isn't she?" So while we're in the garage, I thought it was interesting here that Matt mentioned his parents. He's like,
He
"That's my parents
did.
met" or something. But did you notice he mentioned them in the past tense, as if they were dead,
as if they weren't alive anymore.
Absolutely
as
did.
if they're in that 50-gallon trash can in the same one Dennis was in.
Yeah. They haven't gotten any camera angles from that trash can in a while.
No.
I wonder
Because
why.
yes,
It's full of bodies.
it's full of bodies.
It's full of the Garrisons.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently Sharky's is a huge fixture in the California Dreams universe,
This is
which we learn.
definitely revisionist history at this point.
Oh yeah, but
So how long did Sharky's have this? So, I mean, speaking of the past tense, we should talk about what's happened next, and nobody was ready for
I
it.
was
And I
not
was so
ready.
glad I was on the couch.
I
with you
wrote my
two.
notes in all caps.
Same.
We're talking about a flashback scene, which this might be the first flashback scene minus the dream episode, which I don't count as a flashback. This might be the first flashback scene that we see, I think.
Nuts.
it was
Right?
so exciting.
It's in black
So-
and white.
And they
was
did
so
the little Scooby Doo thing right before it happened. And,
So you know what it is.
You
we
know
just
what's
know.
happening.
and it's like sepia tone, or it's not. Is it fully black and
It's full
white?
black
I think
and
it's full
Okay.
black and white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, is this the 50s? But then we see a young version of Sly and Matt, and
They're like
Baby
10.
Sly.
they
and Baby
maybe.
Matt.
So what? This is a flashback of what at most 7-8 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
But they did make it look like it was the 50s.
Yeah, and the band Johnny Himalaya
And the-
And the
Wave
Wave Breakers.
Yeah.
is playing, and it's very exciting because they're the best thing out of this area right now. Best thing out of Sharky's.
Yeah.
And Matt and Sly are so into
If
it.
they were so good and so big, how this is the first time we're hearing about this band.
Yeah.
I'm upset.
I was really impressed. I was very impressed with the casting for Baby Sly and Baby Matt because it was pretty spot on.
You know,
They did do a
Baby
great job.
Sly was
Yeah.
still horny and still into money as well.
Yes,
you know?
Yeah.
he was consistent.
He said
with his character.
he sees the future. Bands are it because chicks love bands.
Yes.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah, Matt, you got to start a band for the chicks.
And they're watching. I mean, how? I just think how big Johnny and the Himalayas. Jimmy and the Catmandoos. How big could they have possibly gotten?
93, right, is when this episode aired.
Yeah.
So let's say it's 6 years prior to that. So
they're
this
big.
was 87.
So
that wasn't 87, like mid 80s was when there was that brief,
surf rock renaissance. Yes.
Yeah. But I mean, seriously though,
I mean,
like
yeah,
really?
Elvis Costello was
there
pretty
was
big at that
there was
time.
Elvis Costello. There was.
Is Elvis Costello surf?
Well, not so much surf, but he's got the 50s throwback thing.
Okay.
I'm blanking on the band name, but the one that did the song, "We're Gonna Rock This Town, Rock It Inside
Oh, Brian
Out."
Seltzer.
Yeah.
Soda.
No, that's not
Brian Seltzer.
Brian Seltzer.
Yeah.
And the LaCroix Orchestra.
Wait, but isn't that song like super old? Isn't that?
No, that song is from the 80s.
It's like Zoot Suit Riots from the 90s, but it sounds like
there
it's
was
from-
like the 80s, 90s. There was like
Riot.
a weird there was a weird retro music like surge. It was quick, but it happened.
Was it longer than the swing revival of the 90s?
I don't know.
It might have been shorter.
Well, and also George Thorogood
And
was
the destroyer.
the 80s,
He destroyed it.
and his whole thing was like a 50s throwback to the blues and rock and roll.
I to this day I think "Bad to the Bone" is the stupidest song I've probably ever heard.
It's pretty bad.
It's so dumb, and the fact that it has such a life still.
It's in so many movies.
But it's not a joke. It's played pretty unironically for the most part.
Yeah, it's in Terminator 2 as a badass moment. Like as a moment that everybody goes, "Fuck yeah!" And you know what? It worked on me.
It's like the only cringe part of T2 that I can think of, and it's a movie that's pretty dated, but it's.
Oh God.
If you read the lyrics of "Bad to the Bone," it's like I can't.
I don't have to read
And you
them.
look up who George
I've got them
Thorogood
memorized.
looks
You
like.
know them.
Oh, you can't see it, but Zach just showed me a tattoo, a full back piece.
Yeah,
George
it's very
Thorogood
cool.
lyrics.
The full lyrics.
The
Anyway,
entire flashback
so-
was great, but it's basically showing what we already know. It's that this goofy band got their start at Sharky's. We aren't elaborated on that until later, but I noticed that the lead singer, Johnny Himalaya himself,
Yeah.
he looked like he wasn't an actor at all, and this is actually his only acting credit ever.
Who was this guy?
Who
this
was this?
played by Brian Solomon, I think his name is. Does that name sound familiar to you?
It does sound a little familiar.
It should, because he's the creator
My God.
of California Dreams. He's also
This is the cameo.
he also wrote many episodes of Saved by the Bell, The New Class, and College Years. So, but this was almost the last thing he did as well. So, also
why.
killed by Jake.
Also.
Oh God.
So he plays it. He gets one line, and I guess he gets a few lines in at the end. This guy didn't need a SAG card, but they're like, we need somebody to do this. And he's cracking a smile the entire time. Like he's not an actor.
He's really happy to be there.
Yeah. Do you think it's somebody bailed out last minute and he jumped in, or is he like, this is me. I've been called.
No,
I've
I
been called for
feel
this."
that feels like a very intentional choice. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he was trying to get
Did
on
he
the show
write
for
this
a while.
episode? Like this was.
He didn't write this episode. He didn't write much of California Dreams. He just
interesting.
acted in it
And created it.
and created it.
And created it.
He's just
Okay.
collecting them checks. That's all. Big revenue.
I'm fascinated by.
Well,
this.
I want to know what capacity he created this show, and I actually think that if he's still alive, I think I want to say that J. Anthony Frankie, again stepping on our toes, is going to be interviewing him or something.
Okay, can we put in a request for a J. Anthony Frankie, our dear friend?
Dude, what the hell? We're going to send Michael
wait,
Caine
if
to
you
your
do-
house and kneecap you. Stop getting these writers on your show. This is our thing.
Can we send questions for him to ask
Oh,
on
there you
our
go.
behalf.
What questions would you like to know, David
how
Solomon?
did this happen?
I do want to know
How did the
this
cameo
happened.
happen? Was this like him?
Was this his idea?
was
It's
this
his only
California
acting
dream?
credit, so I think this would be burned in his memory. I would hope.
Yeah, and this is his California dream to be on the show.
This is his debut.
And he's, I mean, you know, do a little cameo.
He popped
Yeah.
out there like JonBenet Ramsey. Like he
Yeah.
was so animated.
Exactly.
And like JonBenet, he left this too soon.
It's true.
I watched a true crime documentary on JonBenet
It's
very
just on your
recently.
brain?
So I'm sorry.
It's just there.
You guys like my topical reference?
It's very.
It's pretty
very
much from
topical.
1993. It's
well,
close enough.
Okay, yeah.
That's true. That's true. I'm shit.
Yes.
Alfred Hitchcock did it.
Oh yes,
Cameos.
And-
Cameos
well,
in
who's
your
the
own
worst?
work.
The worst offender has to be either M. Night Shyamalan or Quentin Tarantino with their cameos, right?
Because of the N words.
For both of them.
For both of them. Yeah.
Yes,
something
Quentin Tarantino loves saying it, but
He always writes himself into the cameos, and then he's like, "I'm going to be the one to say the N word."
he's like, everybody else gets their turn at bat. It's T-ball. It's my turn.
Exactly.
But I think
and Shyamalan, same thing.
Shyamalan, the first couple of ones where
The
it was just
slurs.
really, really subtle and close, it's fine. But like once he in Unbreakable, he has like a whole speech, and then Lady in the Water he does, and then Signs. It's like he's a very integral part of the plot, and it's like,
That's
God
right.
damn it, dude.
Yeah, I like the
I mean,
way.
sort of.
I like
It's a
the way that
quick
Hitchcock
part.
did it.
Anyway,
you're
this
being
is not an
generous.
M. Night Shyamalan podcast.
It's not.
This
I'm
is a
leaving.
California Dreams.
Well, it could be.
podcast.
Let's shift. We Hitchcock did it, I think, masterfully.
He did.
He did, where you just kind of see his.
He's like
silhouette.
walking the
You see
dogs
his
in
walking
Psycho,
the
I
dog.
think.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's just quick. That's how Peter Jackson tends to do it.
Okay, yeah.
You know, when he comes in, it's him just walking the dog.
He just
throwing a spear.
Came in apologizing for the Hobbit trilogy.
Burping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This never happened. Us getting so off the rails. It's
So off
just
the
because we're
rails.
next to each other.
This is
I
not
know.
like us.
I would like to point out the fact that we do see the origin of both Baboom and Let's Do It.
At least Sly made up his own.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Matt
true.
stole this catchphrase in the flashback scene. It was Johnny Himalaya that said, "Let's do it," and I'm like, Matt, you fucking hack. You know what? He's like, I've stolen. Let's do it.
Yeah.
My new thing. Maybe he's trying to transition into the count before he gets to his instrument. Because
Yeah.
that's way more Matt. That's brand
Mm-hmm.
Matt. I don't know. What do you guys think? Because we had like 6 Let's Do It in this episode.
There were a lot of Let's
there were
Do
a lot
It.
of Let's Do It.
He was making up for all the episodes that we did not get to do it.
I know. And the ones.
I think this
To come.
episode did it more than our podcast has done it cumulatively.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Stiff competition there, guys.
Mhm.
We're coming for you.
I don't know what my note here means, so I'm gonna move on.
What is it?
Okay.
It says Matt tried to get them to go in together. What could I have meant there?
To go in together.
Oh, yeah. 'cause-
I know what it is.
Yeah.
It was when Matt's like, oh yeah. Which I'm going to make a whole video about just this thing. I think Matt thought that they were going to do like the all for one, one for all, put their hand in the middle, and just Matt went for it. And then you can see in his face, he was like, oh shit, that's not what we're doing. So he just made this awkward fist motion.
He like puts it in.
It was my
and then
favorite
he,
part of the
brings it
episode.
back,
I had
and
to
it's
write it down.
Oh, I was just scratching my neck.
Oh.
It's like when you go to shake somebody's hand and then you wipe your hair down, you know,
Exactly.
and leave them hanging.
Coldest
Yeah,
move.
except they left him hanging.
Yeah, they did.
in this
All
case.
of them, because nobody got the memo that that's what they were going to do. But I guess they're celebrating the fact that they're gonna save Sharkies.
Yeah.
Their plan is if they find out that Sharkies is successful, then they can't shut it down. Which sounds like a solid business plan
Exactly.
for one
He's
night.
in it for money. So make some money.
He's in it for money, not the science.
Yeah.
That's what we've always said about Stone.
That's right.
Yeah. I just quickly rewatched it, and Tiff also goes in, and
Oh,
then
she
he pulled
does.
back.
Okay, so
he pulled back
do you think
quickly,
she was
so
trying
she
to, like-
also. I think everyone
she
was
was
like,
trying?
ah.
That's awesome.
Dude, they had such a rigorous shooting schedule with the popcorn stunt that they like.
Yeah.
This is the only take we could
They
possibly
couldn't
get.
possibly be like, hey,
They were like, it looks
wait,
good enough.
Are
It's
we going
fine."
to do that thing or not? Because I thought we did. It's like we changed it.
We did it at rehearsal, guys. You know what? They were just fucking with Matt at that point because they were just like, "Fuck, Matt." You know who did it? Sam was like, "You know what we should do? We should fuck with
It
that little
was
pay
Sam.
pig, Matt."
It
I
was
wonder
Sam.
if that was the final straw for him leaving the show.
It was that. It was that scene.
I mean, he's only in a handful of episodes after this.
Sure, it's a handful, and that's upsetting.
True.
It might actually be a handful. Like
I
think
know,
we
I
all,
don't
it's
love that.
it's upsetting.
It's awkward. That's really funny.
So-
I was writing notes at that part, so I missed it. I'm glad you pointed it out.
I almost didn't. I'm glad we figured it out. We enact this plan at Sharky's, and I guess they're gonna show. It's odd because they're showing a Pebble the one song set, but I guess Sly is hustling and getting money for other amenities. Is that it?
Yeah, he's getting Matt to make announcements on stage for other people. Like, hey, they're
Wasn't that
celebrating
just the
For
one?
a 5-day
this couple-
anniversary.
That was one.
He
of
got
the
$1
things.
from that. Like, just the
Yeah.
math does not work out.
Every
But
dollar
he says
counts.
later
There was
he-
valet parking.
Sure. You
Yeah.
think if you went to Sharky's every day for lunch after fourth period that you would start paying for parking there? Fuck no, right?
No.
I'd be
Of
so
course
mad.
not.
I'd be like, this is because of the new owner.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
could just, but the payroll is not taken over by the new business yet.
Sam's got the uniform on, is
Yeah,
wearing this
yeah.
the teal shirt. It looked like Tiffany, maybe. I don't
Yeah.
know if it was her.
Yeah, I think
They should have
Um,
sold
someone-
their bodies for advertising. That would have been a better joke, like NASCAR. Like that would have made
Yeah.
money.
Did you hear? They did say once they were talking about like, "Ooh, I'm tired," and Sam was like, "I'm exhausted. My feet hurt.
Uh-huh.
I'm sore."
I wrote this
And,
down.
Who was it? Was it
Jake.
Jake was like, "I'm surprised your mouth isn't tired."
Yeah, that's
So they've been working hard.
yes. I wrote that down.
They've been getting
It's
money.
so
any way they
sexual. I think a writer wrote that, being
Yeah.
like, "This is a double entendre for sure." So this is also where Matt does the count, and since I think he heard us because we were making fun of his count the last couple of weeks, he did a really slow count,
It was the best.
and then he's still. Do we
It's
want to
like
do?
it
Can he do
slowed
it for
down.
us? Yeah.
It was like 1, 2, 3,
3, 4. And then it still wasn't in
still
rhythm.
It was like
It
2.5
was-
beats after that, and then it started. So he's waiting
It
for
was
somebody off screen
incredible.
to hit it, and he forgot that there was like 5 seconds of delay.
Oh my God. It made me so happy.
And
This was
And
my. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh no. I was just gonna say they played the theme song in its entirety.
Yes, they did. And this was, I noticed that in the little ooh section before, they have little notes from the little surfer, little girl, like that song. They have a little snippet of that woven in.
wow.
So little Beach Boys tribute in the extended version of
so
the song.
they
Good
also
ear.
did Soul Surfer ceremony when they sang the song. It was an old Beach Boys
It
song,
was.
wasn't it?
You're right.
So somebody paid for that, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna
That's
get
so-
flagged that you just did that, and
You
our
can cut
podcast
it
is
out.
gonna
You
get
should've done it
canceled.
worse.
No.
Little surfer, little girl.
Isn't that the song they sang though?
Better.
Is that the song they sang? I think that's the song at the Soul Surfer ceremony, isn't it, Little Girl?
It was. It was Little Surfer, Little Girl.
So they paid for
There
the
we
one
go.
song, and
So
they're
they
gonna
did.
get
They
one
paid for
time.
that song.
Oh, that's a
never
loop I
noticed
never.
that.
I
That's
Yeah, it
didn't
was
notice that
very
either.
subtle, and it was like, I was very excited
Is
about
it
it.
in the intro or is it just in the
Yeah, it's
extended
in-
full time?
Well, it's just the
in
extended
the
intro.
extended full time. Yeah, in
Okay.
that little
Full-time.
extended full time,
Not the part-time
extended
intro.
full song.
When we get the real
Well,
deal.
it's this. I think this isn't even the one that's like on the album. This is a live version. This is a different mix. I
Yeah.
can definitely hear the voices are different. So I
because
think
Sam's in this one, not Jenny.
that's true. That might be why they might have had to,
Yeah,
to
right.
remix it with Sam. But I think Zach noticed, or maybe it was Mallory, that they made a banner for this, and it said "California Dreams" every night of the week, right?
Yeah, it's
Oh, you noticed that? Yeah.
yeah. California Dreams tonight and every night.
That's a
every
good joke.
night.
That's a solid sight gag. But you had to get that banner made. Like that's at least like $150
Right.
banner for and quick turnaround time too.
They had not agreed to that. I mean, we find
Right.
out that this is it, and they're all.
I mean,
they're
Jake is into
advertising
it. That's
that
it. Yeah.
every night.
Yeah.
And so everyone there is like, all right, I mean, there's valet parking, but at least we can do this any night we want
That's
to.
true.
You can come see the California Dreams play one song.
Was it just me? Maybe it was the one song set that they really had to sell, but everyone was mugging during this song, like hard. They were everyone was cheesing for the camera more than I've ever seen before.
Everyone was cheesing.
was like
Tony's
M. Night was
vest was
behind
one
the
of the
camera.
best things I've ever seen. Again, I'm gonna shout out the fashion. I loved Tony's vest
Sure.
in this scene. The fashion in this episode was really top notch. I do like it in a lot of it,
yeah.
but this was
Everyone was on
exceptional.
point. Usually it's like one or two
Yeah.
points where you're like, that's dope, but like every single one was fucking great.
I did notice the first time around that no one was singing the backup vocals of the "Don't Wake Me Up" and "California Dreams." The first time around, no one was lip syncing it, and then
What
then
the
Tiff
hell,
jumped
Tiffany?
in.
You
Tiff
had
jumped
one
in
job.
in the second shot.
So they
but-
use backing tracks as well.
But yeah,
she was
they used
focusing on
backing
playing
tracks,
the one
yeah.
string on her bass.
Yeah.
So I was equally excited that the next scene is a firstie. This is the first time we've ever seen a room, and it's the back room of Sharky's, which if you've all worked in the industry, the restaurants, it looked kind of close. There was a desk. There was some dry goods back there.
It did. It looked huge, I will
was
say.
enormous.
It was
There-
really big for a back room.
We've had at least 2 conversations with Sharky that probably should have taken place in the back room.
Professionalism.
Not
Sure.
in front of customers.
Yeah.
They could have happened here.
I think
And
this
they
was
didn't.
Matt's room that they redid. Like the
Maybe it
layout,
was
the layout
Dennis's
looks
room.
similar where the
Interesting.
door was. So I'm pretty sure this is Matt's bedroom.
Oh, see, I theorized it was the garage, but covered in a bunch of like nautical
I mean,
things. but
No, because like
wasn't right.
unless the garage, the washer and dryer lived there forever. It lived
I
there in the
see.
Old West episode. The
Yes.
washer and dryer were just sitting there. So I think they're bolted into the floor. But I have a
That's
question.
incredible.
I have a question here. How did they clear $5,000? They said after parking and whatever, they didn't pay the Dreams whatsoever. So it was a charity gig at best, but they cleared $5,000.
Yeah.
There was maybe 20 people at that event. What's the quick math here? I mean, with
was
parking,
only 20? It looked like more than that to
it
me.
was definitely not that much.
Okay.
So Zach is in it now.
I'm watching it. I'm watching the scene.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
trying to see if it is a recycled location.
Okay, we're both looking.
It looks like its own thing.
I don't know. I think this is Matt's room. This is Matt's room.
Oh,
That's the
Matt's
door.
room?
And
Wait.
if they've covered up the window behind there, but I'm pretty sure that's Matt's room.
They've added stuff. Is the carpeting the same?
Wow.
We'll know by the carpet.
No, the carpeting is different.
Okay, we won't know by the carpet. This is new.
But there is
that
carpet.
new? I don't remember this.
This is where the piano would be.
Right, I remember the piano was here, but this wood paneling, it's painted
Thing
blue.
is, once the Garrisons were murdered off, they probably
Yeah.
didn't ever use this room again as a bedroom. So they probably
Sure.
gutted it, and it's probably easy to put
you
that
don't
shit
think we're
there.
ever going to be in Matt's room again?
No. We have a finite amount of episodes left with Matt.
I said, "Do you
Now
think?"
I'm the
and
one
you
that's
answered
gutted.
with no, with such certainty in your eyes. As
I didn't.
you know-
I have not watched it. I'm just saying,
You
with the
know.
trajectory of this show,
know.
I think they're getting rid of it. I think they're slowly. But you know what? Matt's room can live on in all of us and in the storeroom.
And in the storeroom.
I would
at
love it
Sharky's.
if they
You're right.
they brought it back to Matt's room, but then they left the giant shark head on the wall and just like
That's true.
See if
I hope
anyone
we have so much
notices.
extra room because I don't know if you know, but Matt's bed kept getting smaller and smaller. It was like a House of Leaves situation where it
That
just kept
room.
getting smaller, and he was
Yeah.
down to like this race car bed by the end of it.
Oh my god, that's
I think
amazing.
it's a visual representation to show that he's growing up.
Or
He's
his
getting
part
bigger.
is getting smaller, I think.
his investment.
But they
in the
gave
show.
him
slowly
this.
slipping.
Oh, sad.
So we've I think we've accumulatively agreed that every ticket to see California Dreams was something like $800.
Had to be.
Right?
Yeah.
Parking was Ticketmaster prices, which would
Yeah.
make sense. Like if Ticketmaster and Live Nation came in, bought Sharky's, they would start charging for parking, like that much.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's the only way they're clearing $5,000. Anyway, Stone comes in and he's like, this is a pittance. What I can make selling this boardwalk property. This is like monopoly prime real estate right here.
Yeah.
It's next to waterworks. And come
there's
on.
no way that they would have made that amount every time. Like,
No.
it already was astonishing they made that much, but they're like, see, we can do this.
Clearing
And it's
$5,000,
like-
you're cashing in all your friend favors. Everybody's coming to your show. They're all buying merch and shit. And they didn't make any money themselves. So like, is Sharky successful? Because they'll have to pay the band every night, you know?
Well, what are some establishments that do clear that much more regularly?
Like nightclubs
Bars.
that actually have people and
I think.
but the
places with
overhead
alcohol.
of that is insane.
Yeah.
The amount the alcohol costs. Like
You
this
don't think tonight they started selling alcohol?
The teenagers
It's just-
started selling alcohol.
And you don't think that Sly might have been like,
they sell protein shakes in the back. We haven't even touched on that.
I'm just saying they might be boozing tonight.
There might be some under the table.
We've seen one old person that's old enough to buy alcohol, but actually everybody is over like 20 years old in this show, even if
Sure.
they're playing teenagers. So
See,
but yes,
Jake did
in
it 'cause
universe.
he's a bad boy.
Oh yeah.
yeah, so we're gonna jump to the hallway. I only have one note here, and I think we answered it earlier. Is Katie enrolled in the school? And it sounds like she is, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
how much time has elapsed? That was my other question. Since
a great question.
since she's rolled into town, it's days because they're like the
Just,
bulldozers are
definitely
coming on
less than a
Thursday.
week. Yeah.
Yeah. They said this is the sorry everybody. I get it, but we're closing this thing down. Sharky's is officially over. Bulldozers come on now.
Now outside there is a wrecking ball outside.
It's swinging.
So we go to Sharky's. Tiff has some shorts on. I wanted to ask the fashionista on the episode, like, what's on the front of her shorts?
It looked like some sort of like patch overlay.
It looked
or
like she cut out everything. Like she had a huge Janko pocket, and she just cut
Yeah.
out the jean material.
Yeah, it
which-
was like I'm going back to it.
She's
'cause
got
I'm
a few
curious.
patches.
Is it patches?
It's like
Yeah,
I
it's
love
like
that we can
several
just
little
look this up.
patches.
You know what it looks like on this shot? It looks like a reverse Matt's
I thought
denim
it was
shirt.
paint for
Yeah,
a
it
second,
looks like
but it
looks
does.
like
It looks exactly like Matt's shirt.
What if
Yeah.
it was a matching set and they just
They made
needed to
matching
split
sets.
it up?
Matt would wear a woman's top.
It looks like they went through like a transportation device and like
It's a Brundle fly
teleporter.
clothing. Is that what it is?
And it was just like, oh well, one was denim and one was beige linen. They got mixed up.
Yep.
I mean,
It
I
does
did
look
notice
like a
in this scene,
matching
now
set.
that you have it up, I was upset by the lack of clothing that Jake had on. He only has a flannel and a t-shirt on. He does not have
He
his
must
sweater.
be freezing.
That's what he said when he was there. And there was a really sexy line that he said. He's like, "Don't make me tie you up, Whipple." And we
He
said that
did
to
say
Sly.
that. Again,
Yeah, he did.
palpable.
Yeah.
Palpable.
He's trying to make
sexual
Matt jealous
tension.
because
High
Matt
power.
is gallivanting with a woman in this episode.
I
So
know.
he's marking his territory.
I made note of Sly's cowboy boot vest, and I said, "Yeehaw!" And
It is nice.
In my,
But it's the same color scheme.
It lives
it's
in
the
the same
same
world
color
as these
scheme.
shorts and Matt's shirt. Look at this Scooby Doo sneak that
I
they're
said
doing.
that too. I was like, that was some real Scooby Doo hiding.
And speaking of hiding, Katie comes out. So the whole plan was like, if we get this photo in the back of Sharky, in Sharky's of Johnny Himalaya, they will somehow say that this is a historical landmark. This is a
And that's to save it.
huge jump. But
Yes.
yeah, it's
You
the
can't
only
demolish
way
a
to save
historical
Sharky's,
landmark.
I guess, because
Yeah.
they had some silly Elvis anecdote that's not worth bringing up. But
Right.
I did like, so Katie comes out. She's like, you know what? I love it here. I don't want to move. I love this band. I heard your one song. You're going to make it. You're going to be just as big as Johnny Himalaya. And I just want you all to know, I'm just going to crush you. We never see Katie Stone Pebble again.
I knew it. I knew it.
They set her up that she's going to stick around. This is classic Saved by the Bell tactics.
Very much
stays in
so.
town.
Emotional
for what?
manipulation.
Oh, my battery's about to die. I gotta get my charger.
Memorize
Oh my God!
your notes.
Oh, we better talk about some fashion stuff.
Well, okay. Well, Speaking of that, no, this isn't fashion related, but I did have a note from earlier where they talk about Johnny Himalaya's death.
Oh, that was upsetting too.
That he was... Johnny Himalaya apparently electrocuted himself while playing an electric guitar while surfing?
In the water. That's a long quarter-inch cable.
Yeah, all
that
I
you're gonna
wrote was
need.
just how exactly? I don't know how he would... I have a lot of questions.
I have a lot of questions that,
about
like,
that death.
you can... It's somebody that they idolize so much, and they wrote him off with hapless abandon. They were just
They
like...
treated him very poorly.
That is a painful, painful death.
That sounds horrible.
That is electrocution / drowning.
Yeah.
And then nobody can come in to save you. So at the time that you're electrocuting yourself to death and drowning, people want to save you and they can't. They can't get in the water because
It's horrifying.
everything around it. And they're like fish are coming up to the surface.
Yeah,
they
they're
have
all
died.
dying. Yeah.
And your loved ones who were probably there for your photo shoot or your concert on the water
Right.
are
How
watching
many people were
you
present
die.
for this?
It's at first when he said it, he's like, I thought it was he said a terrible serpent accident, and I was like, oh my god, what happened? But he said surfing.
Yeah, it was surfing.
So you think that he would be a better surfer / electrician in this
Right.
capacity. So
Look, I think that's the most rock and roll way to die.
It's pretty rock and roll, but it is horrible.
No, it's fucking
why didn't he
awesome.
just play an acoustic guitar in the water?
Death is horrible. He did it on purpose. He went out with a bang.
You think he heard about Sharky's getting sold and he's like, it's done.
Yeah.
I'll never relive
Oh, this was done as it was like done
just
days
happened.
before. Yeah,
Well, we don't know how long it's been.
that's true. He doesn't say. He's like he's dead, and he's
Also,
very
yeah, it's only
cavalier
been
about
like
it.
6 years since he was very
This is an
famous.
inception timeline. Like it's
It's a
only been 5 days,
hilarious-
but it has
yeah.
been decades
Yeah.
for Johnny Himalaya.
Well, and I also wrote down my favorite, which this is why my name on the is the Wave Mal and the Weed Whackers, was that Sam refers to them as Wave Johnny and the Weed Whackers.
I love that. I love that
And
she's such a
cracked
ditz
me
about
up.
it.
I
She's
think
only
that's a
halfway
better
listening.
name.
She's got boys to think about. She's got hunks in school. She's
Yeah.
not carrying a sustain pedal. She's in
Yeah.
her own little world. As much as I rally against Sam sometimes, I'm like, you're me. You know, you're a hotter version of me in high school with more talent. Jetty Kwan also not responded to our inquiries.
I know. We've tried. We continue to try. Maybe we should tell her it's
well,
like
we
a
asked,
group.
we asked Kelly Packard, and then she went on this. She went on the Hey Dude podcast. You know, Hey Dude has a podcast.
Oh, yeah. I
yeah.
didn't know they had a podcast,
Yeah.
but that doesn't surprise me.
And I'm like, God damn it!
Maybe someday.
Why don't you just
You know,
who's
Listen.
your daddy in
Hey,
this scenario?
listen.
Who's your podcast daddy? Who is taking every week time to talk about this?
Just because someone goes on another podcast doesn't mean
We're
they can't come on this
exclusive
podcast.
with Michael Cade. Why isn't he on the show?
Oh my god!
A lot happened here. That Matt has left to go get the Historical Society on board with this idea that Sharky's a historical landmark, as there's a wrecking ball outside, as Mallory said.
Yes.
And Stone comes in with his hard hat on. Really unnecessary to have the hard hat on this entire scene.
Yeah,
but
really not
but
a
he
thing.
committed.
He's
that
not
he
even.
does.
committed
He's not
to
even the construction guy.
Yeah,
you know?
that's not a thing that happens.
He's a white
Well-
hat at best. He's not the yellow construction hat guy.
Yeah,
Just
there's no
stop
reason
it.
for him to be on site.
He's
for
not
this.
There's
blue
no
collar.
reason for him to be on site. If he was on, I mean, OSHA might have gotten after him. You know, like that's
He does things on the up and up. He's a slumlord, I guess.
Yeah. I feel like it was just to go inside to pull the teenagers out so they don't murder anybody. But I
Okay,
don't
that's
think
true.
he was
Yeah.
wearing it the whole time outside of the building.
Right.
But I don't know. I mean, maybe he
Whose
just
side
wanted.
are you on?
Maybe
Yeah, seriously.
he wanted to feel like he was a part of things. You know.
Oh, now he wants to be a part of the community that
Right?
he's destroying.
No, not the
actively.
community. Just his team of. His team of.
Oh, he's like, take your boss to work
Yeah,
day. That's what's
he's
going
he's like, you know,
They're going to let me do the jackhammer if I'm really
my
good today.
favorite toy. My favorite toy was the little hammer and the little.
I like the big swingy ball.
I like the Tonka trucks.
He did walk in with cargo shorts, I saw. So he could put his hammer in there. Or is it carpenter pants? There it is.
You're lying. You're lying. He was in a full suit. I was like, I remember there being
definitely
a tie.
white collar asshole. Yeah, he's got
Look
the
at
full
this.
suit on. We do have a construction worker in the background.
Yeah.
You think that's the
Yeah, a couple of them
co-creator of
walk
California
in, yeah.
Dreams? Those are the two assholes that made this show.
Yeah,
Oh
probably.
my god, I hope
Yeah.
so.
Look at that. Suspenders and a belt. And a
You
utility
gotta keep
belt.
those pants up.
This guy is decked out.
So they did clear out Sharky's. Sharky's did look a little weird, totally barren.
It looked very naked and uncomfortable.
So we're gonna. I'm excited to see where this goes because in this scene they convince Stone. I guess his daughter convinces Stone not to do it, right?
Well, Mrs. Rubio comes in. Matt does finally come in.
Matt, the nick of time,
Nick of time.
shows up with the Historical Society with a notarized deed or something.
It's just a delay in the construction, but like Mrs. Rubio, I just wrote down that's Rachel Dratch, and you can't convince me
Yeah.
otherwise. Like
Yeah.
it just felt like such an SNL character.
I did have in here
performance.
that they put a wig on her to make her look older.
She looked so young.
I think she
looked like
she auditioned
17
for
years
Katie,
old.
didn't get it, and they're like, "Don't worry, we got another
We
role
got
for
you.
You'll be
We got
good.
you.
No.
You'll be Mrs. Rubio.
We really like you.
She was a pistol. I thought she was great.
She was eating some scenery in this scene.
She was.
Like,
I
this is-
appreciated it.
I prepared for this speech. And
Yes.
I'm gonna do it, and you could tell that she works with these. She butts heads with these guys a lot because she's in this historical society and she hates land developers.
And
so
he recognized her. He's
Yeah.
like, oh,
Not
is it the
you.
old Elvis trick again?
you're
Yes.
foiling me.
Yeah. Not you. And she's like, I've got a new trick up my sleeve. Thanks,
So
Matt.
he was fully prepared to do this.
Yes.
And then his daughter is like, guess what? I'm happy. I've made a lot of friends at this new school over the past 4.5 days.
Yeah. I feel like there's a moment here. Sorry. There's a moment where Matt lifts his hands up to do a high five, and all of them do give him a high five. And I just think it's some redemption for him, like going in
For
and
the weird Cheers
everybody-
group.
They did that.
earlier.
It's literally in the Saved by the Bell intro that they all do the same high five, and then
I
one
don't
of their
give a
one of
shit
their
about
one of
that
their hands
show.
goes through the whole thing, and they've never changed it. It's in every intro of Saved by the Bell. It's a missed high five.
Does it happen here?
That's
I'm watching.
outstanding.
Yeah, there's
Does
one.
anybody
There's
miss?
one that's who gets left hanging on
Who
this.
misses?
Who's it gonna be?
It's Sly. Look at Sly's face. He kind of misses the moment. He's in the back. He's got to jump in.
That was so weak. He just gave up halfway through. Oh, I kind of wish that Matt would have got left hanging again.
Yeah.
That would have been fun.
He should have just leaned in. They didn't know what to do with Matt this season. He should have just been the loser. Like, guess what? They murdered your family. Your sister left you. Nobody cares about your band anymore. It is going to turn into a goofy comedy. Just be the loser. It's
Yeah.
okay. You could stretch that acting muscle.
So he had no idea his daughter wanted a normal life. So
That's
he was
so
very
strange.
excited. He was very surprised.
This is the
to
first
learn
time hearing
this.
about this. What? You want a stable home environment? We can't move once every fortnight
This is the
Yeah.
first conversation they've had
It's
in
true.
general.
ever.
It's true.
But
then-
but the thing is, it set it up that I'm curious to see if we're going to see more of Sharkies, or do you think they're maybe getting rid of the idea of Sharkies? They're testing it with the audience.
I
that
wonder
they're
if
go
we'll
to
see
now.
less and less. I'm curious.
They're going to do the fadeaway.
I think they might do a fadeaway.
Sharkies?
I just have a theory. I don't know. I think they might. They
Man,
might
I
fade
don't
away.
know. I
They're going to
true-
start every episode at school. instead of
I know
Sharkies.
for
I know that
I
there's
know
more
for-
school in the future.
There's more
episodes,
school.
so-
I know for a fact that they all go live in a loft together starting next season. So maybe all their
What?
parents die by the hands of Jake.
No parents allowed in the law.
I told you, just Children of the Corn.
Yeah.
Malachi came for all of them. Okay, but I think if I'm looking at the end of my notes, I think that's going to do it for.
No. Because
What am I missing?
The greatest moment of the entire episode is Matt is alone in Sharkies and he turns to look back at the stage.
Oh.
And I started to say, is the ghost. And as I said it, the ghost of Johnny Himalaya does indeed appear. Appears on stage.
And he says, "Good job, man." And he sticks out his pinky and his thumb.
Well, that's because 3 of the fingers were burned off in the electrocution.
He was really just waving with all hands, but that's what was left.
His polydactyl fingers.
Oh my
He was waving with his frog arms.
Horribly burned.
Oh my God, horribly burned, terrifying end to
and
the
still
to the
Still an
episode,
eel and
but-
seaweed hanging off him too.
Yeah.
But
But
okay,
he
you're
looked
right. I
cool.
did forget that part.
I can't believe you
I
did.
wanted to ask
It
if,
was the
if it was
greatest
really
moment.
supernatural or this was just. What was this? What was that scene then?
I don't know.
The
maybe
best moment in
it was some of
television history.
The asbestos that had gotten shaken up.
Maybe so.
That's why they
Yeah.
should have torn down
Hallucinating.
Sharky's and made it new. It
Here's
would have
the
been
thing
safer.
is, the only thing that would have made it better is if the ghosts of Mr. and Mrs. Garrison had showed up alongside him and then just been like done a little wave. And be like, "Hi, Mom and Dad."
I don't get it because Johnny Himalaya is here in this scene and his guitar is not plugged in. So
Sure.
he's playing safe here.
Yeah, that's the founder. Sorry, just
That's the
watching
You need
it.
to mute
creator.
that.
That is the creator of California Dreams.
I love that. I love that
Right
so
there.
much.
But he's dressing like he's in the 50s. This was 6 years ago.
I know. It's the throwback. Is that an iron cross?
Johnny Iron Eagle, I guess, was taken.
His necklace is
oh my
questionable.
God.
So it's a supernatural
So, yeah.
element, is what you're
Yes.
saying.
A beautiful
Matt sees
conclusion.
dead people. This is the Sixth Sense
Yeah.
M. Night Shyamalan twist that we're seeing at the end.
It all comes
Topical.
together.
Because Matt, like, he looked down and he was like, "This isn't real," and he looked back and he was still there, and then he started to fade away. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
this is something that Matt actually saw.
This was a
He knows
very
it's real.
Scooby-Doo episode overall.
This is like
But he was not afraid. He was delighted by it. He felt really good about it.
he was so happy. He says
Yeah.
yes and
Yeah.
fist pumps.
Matt,
I love it.
he's such a dork. Oh, he did the fist pump by himself, just like before. That was foreshadowing.
That's great.
I have a question about that. If you hold the door open there at Sharky's, before that was not outside. Before it was the vestibule that we see in the patio.
That's true.
And it looks like maybe the wrecking ball had already started taking the patio down.
It does look like that.
And now that's supposedly the outside because that's supposed to be a palm tree.
You're right.
So
the
that
wrecking
would
ball
be
is still there. You can see
that
it.
would be the first outside shot that we've officially seen on California Dreams.
Wow.
So let's hope that's a continued trajectory. That would be the end of the episode,
That is the end of
unless
the
I'm
episode,
missing.
yeah. No, that was
Bruce
that was
Willis
the
coming in
final
at the credits
That
or
was the
something.
final
okay.
beat.
Wow. I mean, that was a fun episode. They got a lot done, but again, it left me with more questions than answers. So we're not going to see Katie again. We're not going to see Sharky again. We're definitely not going to see Mr. Stone again. Or will we see Sharky's again? These are the questions I'm left
I'm very
pondering.
curious to see.
You know?
I mean, I hope we do.
I mean, where are these kids going to hang? He did have a line. Stone had a line in this last scene where he was very poignant. He was like, when Katie was trying to get him to stop doing this, he's like, "What's the matter? They're just kids. They'll find some other place to hang out."
Very cold,
But very true.
but
you know?
very true. Very, very true.
Whose side are you?
Matt, we
I
knew
mean-
we knew Mallory was on their side. I wanted to trap you. I knew it. I want to take off your mask. You're actually Mr. Stone.
Yeah.
We're the meddling kids, Zach. And we didn't get away with it.
No, never would.
Are there any good YouTube comments for this
Somebody
episode?
hates when they skip the second verse of the theme song. Boo.
It's Mallory.
Why does Jake wear so many shirts?
Fucking, that's
'Cause
me
it's
from how many
cold.
years ago?
Because it's cold. Because it's cold. This was your comment.
It's my alias, my pseudonym.
Somebody noticed the similarity between this episode and Save the Max from Saved by the Bell.
It's
which is
very.
what we-
I know you don't like hearing about it, but it's very, very similar. Okay,
Yeah.
they did this exact thing.
Somebody said, "I'm against animal abuse."
That's it.
Yes, that is all they said.
Was that a joke on Sharkies being shark? Like
I don't know.
Wreck
I don't
Sharkies?
know.
the shark?
These vegans are taking over.
I don't know.
Okay, so
I gotta go.
let's quickly give out some awards on this episode, okay? Let's hear it. Mallory first. The Tony is the best mimed instrument.
I'm gonna give it to Jake. I don't know. I really enjoyed the intensity of his guitar soloing this time.
Okay.
Yeah, I felt like he was giving the most realistic energy.
Okay.
Between him and Tony, I feel like.
Right on. Okay, and what about the Jenny? That'd be the worst mimed.
I'm gonna go another tie between Matt, who was definitely not like really paying attention to the keys for the whole song because he was cheesing over at Pebbles.
He was.
And then Tiff for missing the backup
That's
vocals.
true.
That's really.
I'll
what it
agree
is,
with
yeah.
that. And your Tiffy. Who would you give your Tiffy? Somebody you just want to be in a band with. Like it can be anybody from
Mrs.
the episode.
Rubio.
Yeah, I think she would be great.
Yeah.
I don't know. She'd play tambourine or something,
Yeah.
but she'd be awesome.
Mrs. Rubio, I think.
I agree with Miss Rubio. As I said earlier when we were watching it, ever since J. Anthony Frankie confessed to us that he didn't actually learn any of the solos, I'm now noticing all the mistakes. So
I don't play guitar, so it's still convincing to me.
okay,
Yeah.
and yeah,
I can buy in.
what do you think?
But I get that.
What do you think,
yeah.
Zach? You got any additions, subtractions from that?
I think that's pretty good, but I'm gonna say this is the first time you'll hear me say this, and probably the only time.
Okay, I'm ready.
The Tiffy, I'm gonna actually give to Sly this time, because this is the first time where his money-hungry greed
Okay.
has allowed him to come toe-to-toe against someone else, the supervillain of this episode, Mr. Stone, who has a similar mindset. And he's like, this is how we can counteract it.
Yeah.
We can prove. If you want money, he wants money. You want to prove this place?
That's Sly's language.
Mm-hmm.
I got this.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it didn't work.
He found somebody he can go toe to toe with finally.
Exactly.
Somebody greedier than him.
He's like, I'm going to make us a lot of money.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And,
So if that's the okay,
know,
so
he
if
tried.
if Sharky's did get torn down, would the band just have $5,000? You know,
because I feel like the rest of them would have. I'm not finished.
I need to go.
No, I think the rest of them would have been like they
We'll
wouldn't
let
have had
y'all
the same
finish
ideas.
this.
You know, they would have been like, I think we just need to show that Mr. Stone we're a really good band, or that like kids like it here. And
Yeah.
and Sly's like, he just needs money.
well, I mean,
Yeah.
Stone said he's like, I get people like it here. I got nothing against the place. It's just it can make way more money as like storefront property or like a condo or some shit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, and that's something, and I hate to like jump ahead in the series, but this same exact thing happens. They go to a ski lodge in like the 4th season, and like somebody wants to shut down the ski lodge, and one of the daughters is there, like, and they're like, we gotta save the ski lodge. So,
That sounds
You know,
exciting.
revisiting
maybe
a
there's a
classic.
Yeti in that episode that I'm forgetting, but
hope
I can't
so.
wait
hope
for it.
so.
Okay.
I sure
Never
hope
forgetting
so.
the Yeti.
So,
And on that note,
Mallory,
yes.
you're the guest of honor. Thank you for coming
Thank
back.
you. Thank you for having me.
Do you want to guess what the next episode is about based on the plot?
I would love to. What is
Okay.
the title?
Okay, so the plot of the 14th, the title of the 14th episode of the 2nd season is called 21 Jake Street.
21 Jake Street. I'm going to say Jake is going to be an undercover cop,
All right.
or he is going to be wooed by an undercover cop who's posing as a high school student.
Wow.
Like
Okay.
Never been kissed style.
That's awesome.
That might be close. I'm reading this plot. It doesn't actually tell us. It's not that informative, but you're close based on the title, 21 Jump Street, obviously.
Because that has
This is
undercover
yes.
police work. in
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
GF.
I haven't seen it.
A new girl with an eye for bad boys is drawn to Jake, though her motives are not what they seem.
Narc.
Meanwhile, Tony and Matt use Tiffany and Sam as the inspiration for their art projects, while the band sets out to acquire some fake IDs so they can play the 21 plus club. That's 3 fucking plots right there.
That's a lot of plot.
This is a rich episode.
Yeah,
That's gonna be crazy.
Dense with plot and narrative. So that's gonna be a fun one. That's gonna be next week. And again, we're going by the IMDb order of the episodes. So I see next week. This came out on December 25th, 1993. This is the Christmas episode. So
This one was?
this next one is.
Oh,
So
the next one. Okay.
This one came out December 4th, which means they had like 3 weeks off.
Yeah.
What the hell happened in 1993 that was so bad? Was it the Oklahoma City bombing? Was it what? Just like nation needs to mourn. We can't have anything going on
The
in
writer,
California
the creator,
right now.
was just really tuckered out from his cameo.
He died.
He needed to.
We needed 3 weeks of mourning.
Exactly. He wasn't supposed to make an appearance.
Yeah.
In the last scene,
He was an actual ghost.
That was an actual.
Yeah.
No.
They used the
no.
Ouija board to bring him
All right.
back. So yeah, that's gonna do it for here.
Okay.
At Surf Dudes with Attitude. This was a lot of fun. Let's do way more of these. We have
Please,
some more
please.
content that we're shooting here in Nashville while I'm present in all the shots. This took a long
My
time.
arms are too short.
Mallory is definitely she's definitely the sly in this situation.
There you go.
There we go.
She tried to do the high five.
It was too far.
left hanging.
It was too far.
And I'll be Matt in this scenario. So please come back next week. We got a really fun episode coming up. And thanks for listening to Surf Dudes with Attitude.
Hey, thanks for being here in Nashville.
Hey,
Thanks for
this
being
this
here.
whole week's
Thank
been a
you
this
for
whole week's
coming.
been a
We've had
B
a-
last.
We've had a great week together.
Yeah,
It's been awesome.
and there's gonna be way more to come on that front, hopefully.
Yeah.
And I guess until next week, this is Pete out of Nashville, the Surfboard State, Tennessee. Everybody drive carefully, no matter where you're at.
This has been a Waning Moon production.